Hi, John Hess here of FilmmakerIQ.com. I'm going to show you a neat little trick of how to make your own XLR cables or how to solder your own XLR cables. This is great if you need to make a new cable or if you want to repair that cable that just got broken, maybe got run over by a truck, the heads got crushed or it got snapped in half or a dog chewed through it. This is the same technique you would use to fix a broken XLR as it is to make a new one. So let's get started. Let's go through the parts we're going to need. We're going to need a soldering iron, which is right here. This is what's called a extra hands, and it's actually very useful for holding things while you're working. You're going to need solder. This is 6040 rosin core solder. You're going to need something to cut the wires with or strip the wires like a strip. You're going to need some new XLR heads, which you can purchase on eBay. Very easy to purchase. Now this is the female end right here, and this is the male end. You can kind of think of it in terms of anatomy. Males have a little thing that projects, and female has things that take. And then we've got a little cable tester here. You don't need this, but if you're going to do a lot of cables, you really want to get one because if you don't have it perfectly wired, you can damage equipment. So let's put that aside first. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my soldering iron so that it can get hot. Let's take a look at our pieces right here. Let's go ahead and disassemble them. There we go. And the way the male side comes out is it actually just falls right out in the front. Notice how the male side has no notches. And you'll notice the female side, again putting the screws safely away, has a little notch right here on the outside. Let's take a look at the actual connections themselves. So an XLR is a 3-pin connection. And if you look very closely on, let's see if I can get this on a camera here. On an XLR, you see you have 3 numbers, a 1, 2, and 3. 1 is always going to be your ground wire, 2 and 3 are your hot and cold wires. Now you want to keep that in mind because they actually swap depending on the male and female side. See, the female version has the one on the right, and the male, if you can barely see that, has the one on the left. Okay, let's get our cable ready. Front end to cut the cable. Now we're going to strip the ends of the cable and we're going to tin the wires. To strip the cable, we use our wire cutters. They have a little stripping. I'm going to just take off about a little bit more than ½ an inch, roughly 2 centimeters if you're a metric here. I'm just going to take off about ½ an inch worth of the rubber insulation on the outside. And remove the rubber. On this cable yourself, you will see a lot of little thin wires. This is the insulation, or this is the shielding, I mean. Grounding. What you want to do is you want to push it all to the side like that and then twist it so that it makes its own little wire. Then you want to take the paper and cloth insulation around these 2 smaller wires, take some scissors and just remove that with some scissors. Now we want to strip the remaining black and white wire. Strip the black and white wire, just go ahead and, again, we don't really need that much here, just maybe 1/4 of an inch. And that right there is a properly stripped XLR end. So we'll do the exact same thing to the other end of the cable. Now that we have all the wires stripped, it's time to tin each individual wire. And by tinning, what we mean is we want to put a little bit of solder on the end of the wire to help facilitate connecting all the wires together. So I'm going to start with this black wire. I've got my soldering iron here sitting on a stand. It's been sitting on it for a while. I think it's pretty hot by now. I'm just going to touch the red wire to it until it gets kind of hot and try to melt some solder right on the red wire. There we go, and you see how that just sucks up the solder like that? You don't need very much solder. There we go. Now this shield here, just really need the tip. We're just going to get the tips nice and hot and add a little bit of solder to it. Okay, and that is a properly tinned tip. Go ahead and do the other end while we're here. Insulation wire and a tinned red and black wire. What I'm going to do now is put a little bit of solder in each one of these little pockets. Be careful where you hold the connector at this point, because these are very good at distributing heat, and you can hurt yourself. So I'm holding it on the side here where the plastic sort of is. Okay, so just put a little bit of solder in each one of the little pockets. We'll do the same thing with this one. This one you have to be very careful because you don't want to hold it at the prongs. You want to hold it right here on the plastic point. Now we need to connect the wire to the pin. Let's go ladies first. Now this is very important. It's very easy to screw this part up. Always put on the end cap before you would try to solder the parts together. I've done this. I made this mistake many times. You have to tear the whole thing apart and start all over. So it's good to just start this right in the first place. The side with the notch is the female side. So we want to slide that. Put the cable through there, through the little rubber housing, slide it down, and now we've got one on the right side, two on the left, three at the top. So let's track that back. So one will be this right here, this connector. 3 is this middle connector, and then 2 is this connector over here. I'm going to go ahead and put this into my third hands clip. You can also use like a paper clip to hold it. Again, you don't want to be holding this thing because it will get pretty darn hot. So let's put the wire. So one will be on this side. We'll make 2 red and we'll make black 3. Doesn't matter which one is 2, which one is 3. It just matters that you stay consistent. As long as you're consistent. If red is 2, then the other side, that means red needs to be 2. Don't mix and match. This is not a mixing match kind of a thing. And then, since we've already tinned the connections, it's really just a matter of melting the solder and getting it, and then letting it sit there until it cools down. It usually takes about a second or two to cool. So go ahead and push down on number 2 here. Go ahead and melt solder. A couple seconds, and we've got a connection. Now to our number 3 on the top. Black cable to the top, number 3. Go ahead and get that in position. Melt. A nice strong connection. And it's melted. Got a connection there. And then our final one, number 1, which is the shielding, and just hold it till we melt. Get both wires hot. Let's go ahead and clamp down this little clamp right here, and you want to kind of have it holding on to the rubber insulation. So I'm just going to use my cutters here and just squeeze it down so it's holding on to the rubber. That way there's not the tension's really on the rubber part and not on our soldering work. Then you turn it to the right you get the proper notchings and line it up in place. Go ahead and drop your screw back into And we will tighten the screw. We won't go crazy like the guy did when he first sold it to me. Okay, so the female end is done. Now we're going to do the same thing now with the other end of the cable. Don't forget, put the cover on first. If you don't do that, you're going to take the whole thing apart and start over. This one, the male side's a little bit trickier because you don't want to touch the prongs on this side. Remember what I said earlier, you got to make sure we figure out which ones are 1, 2, and 3. In this case, the 1 is going to be on the side closest to me. And on the other end, it ended up being on the side furthest away from me. And applying heat. Double checking now. It's again, it's okay that the insulating touches the metal part of the connector. That's all fine and dandy. Go ahead and line up the holes. There's a little tiny notch. You see it right there. That helps you line up this sleeve, the end of the male one. Just go ahead and pull it back until the holes line up, and go ahead and plop it into the hole. Give it a tightening. And now it's time to check to make sure what we've done is correct. This is a microphone cable tester. It's capable of testing all kinds of cables. The reason I got this thing was because I was trying to test the cable I was fixing, and I basically wired it improperly, and it destroyed part of my audio recorder. So I had to take that in and get it repaired. So I vowed to never have that happen again. So I bought a cable tester. You can do it with a camera. You can do it with a microphone or a mixer. Again, if you don't have it properly wired, you could be in trouble. So I just don't recommend it. If you're going to do this often, buy one of these, and they're good because the thing with DIY cables is they tend sometimes to go bad because our soldering maybe isn't up to par. It's always good to have these so you don't have a big giant scare on your shoot. The way you test this is you plug the microphone jack in. How am I not doing it? Both ends like that. And then you flip the switch to cable test. And what these numbers do, I'm going to hold it to a camera that's not going to go crazy. Okay, now the way to read this particular chart is you've got this light right up here means that the ground is connected, so we did that right. Each of these button lights here, the LED lights here correspond to, so if we've got pin 3 on this going this way is connected to pin 3 going this way. So that means we hooked it up right. Pin 2 connected to pin 2, that means that's right. Pin 1 to pin 1, so we've got this little diagonal line that's perfect, and we up and down like that means that all the connections are made. And when you turn off and on again, that's what you want to see. And if you wiggle it, you're not seeing any blinking lights as far as these guys are concerned. That's what we want. And that's how you do it. So you can take that process, make a brand new XLR cable, or fix an XLR cable that you may have already that's broken. Just do the same thing, just cut off the old one and install a new one. That's all there is. Simple as that. Go ahead and make some XLR cables.